Okay, what you learn from what I'm saying is that there's a huge gap between what you call as your safety and what they determine as your safety. So when you realize what is important to you, when you bring it up, then they'll say, you're satisfying yourself. Thank you, Father. And then, they just don't take you seriously. So, they don't want to, they just don't do their jobs just because they don't want to take responsibility. I wish they, also your government, can do something to lower, the radiation, and we can work together for that. That's our hopes. But as we learn from the Japanese government, your government, the U.S. government, might be doing something similar. Might be already doing, right?
ちょっとカメラが回ってるんで、正確に僕が何て言われたか、記録しておきます。そんなのは3000円払ったお父さんの価値観でしかないでしょ、ああっていうふうに保育所から言われました。これはぜひ残しててほしい。
So, because the camera is running, so I'm saying that this is what exactly I was told. It's just like, your perspective worth exactly $34. Ha ha ha. That's what he was told.
どうも今日はありがとうございました。
Thank you so much.
効果物も測ってくれないし、安全安心ですとずっと言い続けて、私たち福島の子どもたちよりも危険にさらされている状態です。なので、ぜひここにいる会場の方でアメリカ政府の方、すごい知り合いがいるなんていう方がいましたら、日本政府に対して、国に対して日本の子どもたちの未来を守る方向に本当に動けっていうことをアメリカから言われれば、日本人アメリカ政府の言うこと何でも聞いちゃうので、もうぜひお願いしたいです。
Maybe it's impossible, but when we look at the history, Japan has been saying yes, yes to whatever the American government is saying before. So, and right now, Miyagi kids, like Fukushima kids also, but we are really threatened. We're surviving through this dangerous situation, and you people from California, and we can work together to save our children, protect our future. And we would like to ask that we work together.
Thanks so much for sharing, and again, I wish there was endless time to continue this discussion because there's so much to learn from them. And one of the facts that just is so vivid to me is that we're all in the same boat together, and unfortunately they've already had to experience it, and they will live with this problem for ages. And for them to come share their story with us so that we can prevent it is completely unselfish and honorable and much appreciated. And it also demonstrates that ordinary people like you and I that aren't necessarily activists, but we have concerns and want to know the truth and don't like to live in uncertainty, they have become activists. And basically, I think that's what they're saying to us, is we have to become activists too before it's too late. And I hope that comes
more
through.
of a protest movement.
Exactly.
Right, well, let's see what happens tomorrow at the protest. I think we're going to...
Japan.
There is a protest movement.
It's ridiculous. And also, the other thing is that they're talking about the children only. But what's going to happen is, like the VA, the veterans, the Vietnam veterans, they're going to wait till the whole, 30s and up die off. And then there's not going to be any reparations. There's not going to be anything done, and it's just going to be just for the little children. It needs to be for everybody, not just the children, everybody. It doesn't matter how old you are. Everybody needs to be taken care of. The children genetically are more predisposed to damage to the DNA. But you need to include the whole population, and they need to go to the other surrounding cities. That Japan is very nationalistic, and they need to get all the cities to help this area, because that is what a good nation does.
Yes, and that's what good neighbors do, whether there's an ocean between us or not.
There is a protest movement, actually. There's demonstrations in Tokyo, frequently.
So he knows a lot. My friend Manuel Young, like there's a lot of protests happening in Japan.
Well, after March 11th, there's been a shift in consciousness among the people in Japan. In Tokyo, the government is doing nothing. So the mothers in Fukushima,
What about GE? I want to know, what is GE doing for this financially? Because you know what? They're screwing your country and they're screwing our country, and it's getting ridiculous.
Are the Japanese people going to make the government listen to them?
Well, one thing that we should really point out really quickly is that after 3/11, before 3/11, there was no protest or very few demonstrations. After it, tens of thousands of people showed up on the streets. They're circling the Japanese government. The diet is ongoing every month. When I was there last year, from basically June until September, I participated in so many demonstrations. So they're out there. That's a visible part of the protest movement. These people in Fukushima, surrounding areas, the mothers, are part of the invisible movement. Investigating science on their own, trying to figure out exactly what's going on because the government is not trying to.
What about GE? What about the town?
The GE is the one who's responsible for offering the technology in 1967 to Fukushima.
They were there and they helped put that whole plant together.
Absolutely. This is part of it.
They have a lot of culpability, and why are they? We don't even hear that name, GE, on television. Even on NK. They own the television. Well, over there, NK, I don't know if they.
But we should also remember that in late 60s, there was a huge GE national strike, which is not related to a nuclear plant, but that was able to stop, for 6 months or so, the production of nuclear, the nuclear plant itself in Fukushima. So when the workers go on strike in the United States, that actually has impact, in Japan, if it's the same company. So we have to include not just the question of nuclear power as an isolated issue, but also as a issue of labor, issue of conditions of life, to connect all these things together.
How can we work together more in unison with the Japanese people to close down nuclear power? How can we work together for the health of the Japanese people and for the safety here, so that we don't have to endure the same type of action?
Well, I think this kind of conversation that you successfully organized is a really important moment. I don't think we can never underestimate these meetings, because people who never had the understanding, the knowledge, there are people struggling against these similar issues, same situations, afflictions across the Pacific, are out there. So when I went to Japan, when I met so many different people, that connection really stayed with me. And these things are not written in history books. It's like what Howard Zinn talks about in People's History. These are histories we have to dig out. And I'm really thankful and grateful that you guys have done this, because we are discovering history as it's happening.
We're making history.
We are making, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Again, I feel terrible to have to cut this any shorter than we've made it already, but we love having the beginning of the conversation, and it's going to continue because we need to rely on each other. It's becoming more and more obvious that we can't rely on the government agencies or the technocrats or the people that are actually responsible for our safety, and it's people of common nature, common ground, that we're just average citizens that are going to have to work together very hard to prevent anything worse happening, and to help those that have already suffered so much in Japan. Thank you very much, and we will look forward to joining you with the candlelight vigil.
get your email address and also their email address, because there are some other issues that my brother was going to present has to do with